Hi, Michael. And hi, everyone in the chat. So, we have our show for today, but there's some breaking news. So, Michael's going to play a video. I think Michael's going to play a video. Okay, until he plays the video, I'm just going to talk. And let him get set up because you guys, we are like on my channel trying to figure this stuff out. I do have exciting news though. We do have producers to help us. Neither of them are here today, so we're still like, in limbo. But they will be there um, for civilian discourse. So they're learning. They're trying to learn the equip. I mean, not the equipment, the application. Um, so the host can focus more on each other and not looking into the chat and the comments and trying to move things and play things and yada yada yada. It's really hard. It's really easy to get distracted. So I really appreciate the help that we are going to receive shortly. So yes, thank you, Shmasha. That's their two names. We just mashed them together. We call them Shmasha. So I see, Michael, you're still having a little. You're on mute, by the way.
Oh,
There you are.
yeah, sorry. Um, I'm just saying because I'm sharing on Firefox instead of my typical Avast secure browser, which I think is just Microsoft, but it if I try and share it, it will go straight to it, and I won't be able to like load it and add it to Stage beforehand.
I
So
see.
when I shared it before, were you guys able to see it and hear it?
We saw it, but we didn't hear anything. And it might have been because you were on mute. And let me just explain for you guys at home. Um, we still have access to that runaway RBN channel on a specific browser. So then when we created this channel for ourselves, we had to switch to another browser, and the things don't always work the same. So we're trying to figure that out.
Yeah. So
So
I said,
that's what he's talking about.
and you had asked me to set up a live stream over there to send people over here. I hadn't hit live. You want me to go over and hit the live on that?
Yeah, you should.
I was having a hard time. I think I have
Yes.
to leave. I'll have to leave this StreamYard to go into that one to start it.
Go
But
ahead.
I don't.
Go
I
ahead.
won't. I
I
think I
can't
might have to
talk.
stay in it to keep it going. So I don't know if that will work. So I might just have to
Um,
leave. But
well,
welcome, guys. Hello,
give it a few
Johnny.
minutes. Give it a few minutes. I'll hold down the fort while you do that.
Well, I was just gonna, because we were gonna share this breaking news quick, whatever. I was gonna try and share my screen and then see if I can get that video playing, and then maybe I can see what I can do there after that. So, you want me to try that?
I think it might be better to go over there now before people just like leave.
All
Like,
right.
you know
Then
what I mean?
you want to call up that Donald Trump? We should that we set that we
You can
buried the
email it.
lead or whatever.
You can email it to me and I'll do it.
All right.
In the meantime, I'm just gonna talk.
Yeah, just let them know what the news is anyway, and then like you can.
Trump was found guilty on all 34 counts, but I don't know all of the details because it kind of just happened right before we were going live. So I was like, what? But hi, Miguel. Hi, Desert Mantis. Hello, John H. John H says, oh, snap.
Okay.
Yes, mainstream. Yes, Miguel. Okay, I don't know why I'm echoing with you.
All right, you can check
It
your
might be
email.
because
The
you're
video
trying to
should
go
be
into
there.
the other one. Okay.
I'm
So,
gonna
yes,
step out
go
for a
ahead.
moment
Yep.
and get that other thing going, and I'll be back. Okay.
Yep. So mainstream media is going to have a field day with this. They are going to go on and on and on and on about this news, which is not news. I mean, I remember, okay, we can go all the way as far back as Nixon. Okay, well, he got pardoned. Okay. Let's just start with Bush going to war without approval from the international community. And he said, I don't have to get your approval. I'm doing it anyway. He's fine. Obama, we tortured some folks. He's fine. But we're really doing this over a diddly-do with a porn star? Oh my God. Yes, it's totally not news, more entertainment, yes. To get your mind off of what they're really doing behind the scenes. And that's the stuff we're going to stay focused on and talk about, the stuff they're really doing. So let me try to pull up this just so you guys can see. I'm going to pull this video up. It's so entertaining. So I'll pull this up just so you guys can get, wind of what's happening right now. This is it. This is it. Here we go. All right, I'll be back.
Donald Trump has been found guilty on all counts
Let me know if you can hear it.
of falsifying business records in an attempt to cover up these alleged relationships in the New York hush money trial. It's an extraordinary moment.
Nora, to hear you read what you just read is a moment of enormous gravity for this country. We cannot overlook that. To hear that word, guilty, not just once, but 34 times about a former president of the United States in any context is completely uncharted territory. And there will be a raging debate across this country about the propriety of bringing these charges. But under our system, a grand jury heard the evidence. A grand jury rendered an indictment. And through all due process, the former president was accorded all due process rights. And a jury of his peers assembled in New York in this courthouse found him guilty on all charges. This is not just a legal moment for this country. It is not just a political moment for this country. It is a moment where everything about politics and law and our orientation to both are convulsed as never before.
Donald Trump has become the first former president ever convicted of a crime. I want to bring in Robert Costa, who has covered Donald Trump for a long time and written books about Donald Trump. I can only imagine what the former president is doing right now.
Nora, this is the conclusion of a trial, but it's only the beginning of a fight. I've already gotten new reporting from Trump sources. They are planning to appeal this decision as much as they can, and they plan to mount a grievance war across the country. To echo what Major said, this is a moment of seriousness for the country on a legal, political, and democratic front, because you now have a presumptive Republican nominee who will be mounting an appeals process as he heads toward the Republican convention, and he has the Republican Party behind him. It was here in the park, steps away, that the Speaker of the House, second in line to the presidency, Mike Johnson, came here to say, we stand with Trump. So many have come here wearing red ties and saying that Trump is our candidate, regardless of whether he's convicted of a crime in New York City. Here in Deep Blue Manhattan right now, there were cheers that went up in the park around us as the conviction was made clear to the crowd that has been gathering here. But from Trump supporters across the country, there is anger and frustration right now. And Trump campaign officials are arguing this is going to make Trump stronger inside the party. But now, as a convicted felon, it could raise new questions about maybe not his nomination, Republican Party. But Democratic sources really believe some swing voters in places like Michigan, Pennsylvania, in the suburbs across the country might start to say, do we really want to have a convicted felon in the White House? It's a tag that Trump can no longer escape.
It's an important, we're talking about a legal issue right now, but a political issue as well, as you point out. I want to go straight to Errol Burnett, who is right outside, who can give us a sense of what's happening there outside the courtroom. Errol?
Nora, two angles I can give you. Outside the courthouse, we're hearing some sense of cheering and people yelling guilty. The courthouse directly behind me, while our reporters inside are painting some of the color as the foreperson read out the verdict. It was very similar, Nora, to the way you read this out. It was quiet and somber inside the courtroom, with former President Donald Trump seated as the defendant, looking at the jury as the foreperson, leaning with his left arm on a railing and a right hand holding the microphone, slowly 34 times said guilty as the judge was asking for the jury's verdict on these felony counts. Then the judge asks the jury, is this accurate? Is this the proper reflection of your verdict? They said yes. And during this entire time, Donald Trump staring intently at each of the jurors, the lawyers standing with their hands clasped, and the jurors at this moment being thanked by the judge for their service. Judge Merchant acknowledging that these past 6 weeks have been stressful for them. Let's not forget, some jurors that were selected early dropped out and buckled under the pressure, the media spotlight, and the importance of the moment. But inside the courthouse, a somber moment as Donald Trump, former president of the United States, GOP presumptive nominee, had to sit and listen as a defendant as a jury of 12 of his peers found him guilty on all 34 felony counts. This was the moment that Donald Trump became a felon.
And so here is the question we're all, that this is begging
Yes.
to have answered.
Yes.
So
And that's what you were trying to research like profusely before we got here. Now remember, folks, the only way he could be found guilty is if the jury was unanimous in their vote. It had to be all 12 jurors.
yeah. So I
Hi,
would say
Mastermind.
yes,
Mastermind.
Oh, hello.
Look, I'm missing my schmasha. Because Michael, you accidentally put civilian discourse on the RBN channel. You put the wrong thumbnail up.
I can hop back in. It was just the thumbnail that was already up. So
I think I emailed it to you saying, "Hey, hop over to here." But that's why we need our schmasha.
yeah.
We need our schmasha. My
Yes.
version. I mean, my part of the schmasha had a budget meeting to go to this evening, so I couldn't utilize her. And you guys out there, can you just send some positive energy to my half of the schmasha? She's interviewing to be a principal of a failing middle school that she really wants to get the opportunity to turn around. So put some positive energy out there in the air.
Good luck with that, Tasha. You asked me to sign some
A
kind
letter
of
of recommendation, yes.
like a petition for. I did that. I don't know if that's.
I saw it, yes. I
Add
thank
their
you so
name.
kindly. I just didn't want to put it out there in the super public.
Yeah.
But
Maybe if people want to support you with that, they can contact you more privately.
directly. Yeah, I'd rather them actually know her and you
Right.
met her, so I don't want to just ask people
That's a good point.
Randomly
Otherwise, it's an abuse of.
to vouch for someone. Exactly. Exactly.
She
So you
earns it. She deserves it. So.
Oh, thank you. So I'm going to take this down for a second because I just want to say this. I'm very excited, Michael, because we're taking 5 kids to Noir Orchestra. You know the French word Noir, meaning black, a black orchestra in New Orleans. on Saturday, taking about 5 or 6 children, most of whom have never left their city. So a few of them are coming from Lafayette and a few of them are coming from Baton Rouge. So I'm so excited to do this for them. They're all graduates. They all graduated this year. So it's
Well,
just like,
that's important. Speaking as someone who feels like I've been stuck in this city for a while, I think it's important for people to get out there and kind of actually experience it and feel that this is possible. I don't have to be stuck there forever. So
exactly. So that's what we're doing, and I'm super excited about it. Before we get to the question at hand about will he be able to run, I saw that question, Miguel. Michael has somewhat of an answer for you, but Desert Mantis says, what's a smasher? Smash. So basically, it is my friend and my really good friend and partner and Mastermind's beautiful wife, and we just matched their names together. So we call them our Shmasha. That's all that is.
it's a new term of endearment. So,
Yeah. So
do you
then,
want me to answer what question am I answering here?
okay, I'll pull it up for you. So there's two, one from Miguel and one from Desert Mantis. So let's go with this one first. I believe I believe he can't still run. He just won't be able to vote for himself, I guess.
Right.
So
So I was
can,
just
I think they meant to say can still run,
yes,
which the answer is correct. They can still run, right?
I was just reading an article on Yahoo News about it, and it says that he faces a maximum sentence of 4 years in prison, though others convicted of that crime often receive shorter sentences, fines, or probation. So it's a trumped up charge for Trump. Incarceration would not prevent him from campaigning or taking office if he were to win. But the problem is the whole thing, it's a politicized trial. The point of it is to see if, not to prevent him from running, but to prevent him from taking office, because they think that by dubbing him an official criminal, a felon, that it would prevent people from actually voting for him and swing enough votes in Biden's favor to actually make him lose, which is an abuse of the judicial system, in case anyone needs clarity on that. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not how you win an election, so it's not how you prove that your elections aren't rigged. So
And the crazy part is people are rallying around him even more because of this trial.
which, as far as if the duopoly is working together, I would suggest that's exactly the kind of play that you would do if you are covertly working as the Democratic Party with the Republican Party to throw the election in their favor. But you got to put up some kind of excuse legally that it's in denial, plausible deniability that you didn't actually know that you're doing it on purpose. So.
Because how long can the Democrats continue without delivering anything to us? They have to turn the power over to the other side so we can continue this incremental BS.
And typically the Republicans are elected for recessions, and Democrats are elected for the booms as opposed to the bust. So that
Exactly.
pattern is continuing full forward with Trump. So
Exactly. I'm so glad people have found their way over here. Jay Johnson, I'm glad you found. I know you were like looking. We talked about that, so I'm so glad you're here and you found me and us. And Jay Johnson says, yes, that's the idea.
I recently was
Back
hearing
and
of
forth.
someone being sentenced in China, I think to death for plundering millions or billions. Don't exactly remember the details. I didn't really read the story, but it's nice to hear that they actually punish white collar crime seriously over there.
The only time they punish white collar crime here is if you have messed up other millionaires and billionaires' money. So as long as you're messing over the little people, there's no crime. But as soon as you do something like, gosh, his name is like right there. He had that Ponzi scheme, but he was ripping off millionaires.
Was that the liquor one? The
He committed. I think his
The
son committed
crypto guy, or
suicide.
now I'm thinking
What's his
Bernie
name?
Madoff. The
Madoff. That's his
Madoff,
name.
the guy from way back in the day.
Yeah, Bernie Madoff.
Yeah.
Yep. Like he would have got away with it if he wasn't ripping off rich people. But anyway. So where are we going from here today?
Yeah, we're
We're
getting
supposed to be
22
talking
minutes in. If
Brown
we're
and-
not wanting to go too late, we got to be thinking where we're going here next. So.
Yeah, I had a rough day. My mom's she's not having a good day. So where do I start? Let me see. I'm going to start with.
If you wanted me to fix that picture on the other stream real quick, I can leave and come back, and you can do something, set up. You can transition to a story while I do that.
Oh, okay. Okay, sure.
You got something for?
Yep. To transition into what our topic is actually going to be today.
Yeah, cool.
Thank you, RIP. Yes, everyone hit the like button and subscribe.
And
Like
share.
Mastermind said, doesn't cost you anything. Just go ahead and do it. Come
All
on.
right, I'll be right back, and I'll do that. So I'll be back.
Okay. The only reason Madoff got in trouble is because the government doesn't like competitive Ponzi schemes. That's funny. And it's funny because it's true. It's sad. Yes. We're the only ones that can get away with ripping everybody off. You cannot do that. How dare you? So I am going to start a video to get to our topic at hand, which is I'm frozen over here. Our topic at hand, which is brown and black ops. I don't know what made me want to do this topic. Thank you, Jay. Thank you. Let's see. Bear with me, everybody. Now that I'm using a different browser, it doesn't play well with others. All right. Here we go. This is to segment into our topic, brown and black ops.
So I've been seeing a lot of things talking of the people making commentary. Interestingly enough, the ones I've noticed that have been making the commentary are wealthy Black people making the commentary about we should not be rioting, we should not be looting, we should not be tearing up our own communities. And then there's been an argument of the other side of we should be hitting them in the pocket. We should be focusing on the blackout days where we don't spend money. But, I feel like we should do both. And I feel like I support both. And I'll tell you why I support both. I support both because when you have a civil unrest like this, there are three types of people in the streets. There are the protesters, there are the rioters, and there are the looters. The protesters are there because they actually care about what is happening in the community. They want to raise their voices, and they are there strictly to protest. You have the rioters who are angry, who are anarchists, who really just want to shit up, and that's what they're going to do regardless. And then you have the looters. And the looters almost exclusively are just there to do that, to loot. Now, people are like, well, what did you gain? Well, what did you get from looting? I think that as long as we're focusing on the what, we're not focusing on the why. And that's my issue with that. As long as we're focusing on what they're doing, we're not focusing on why they're doing. And some people are like, well, those aren't people who are legitimately angry about what's happening. Those are people who just want to get stuff. Okay, well then let's go with that. Let's say that's what it is. Let's ask ourselves why in this country in 2020, the financial gap between poor Blacks and the rest of the world is at such a distance that people feel like their only hope and only opportunity to get some of the things that we flaunt and flash in front of them all the time is to walk through a broken glass window and get it. That they are so hopeless that getting that necklace, getting that TV, getting that change, getting that bed, getting that phone, whatever it is that they're going to get, is that in in that moment when the riots happen, and if they present an opportunity of looting, that's their only opportunity to get it. We need to be questioning that. Why? Why are people that poor? Why are people that broke? Why are people that food insecure, that clothing insecure, that they feel like their only shot, that they are shooting their shot by walking through a broken glass window to get what they need? And then people want to talk about, well, there's plenty of people who pulled themselves up by their bootstraps and got it on their own. Why can't they do that? Let me explain to you something about economics in America. And I'm so glad that as a child, I got an opportunity to spend time at Push where they taught me this, is that we must never forget that economics was the reason that Black people were brought to this country. We came to do the agricultural work in the South and the textile work in the North. Do you understand that? That's what we came to do. We came to do the agricultural work in the South and the textile work in the North. Now, if I right now decided that I wanted to play Monopoly with you, and for 400 rounds of playing Monopoly, I didn't allow you to have any money. I didn't allow you to have anything on the board. I didn't allow for you to have anything. And then we played another 50 rounds of Monopoly, and everything that you gained and you earned while you were playing that round of Monopoly was taken from you. That was Tulsa. That was Rosewood. Those are places where we built Black economic wealth, where we were self-sufficient, where we owned our stores, where we owned our property, and they burned them to the ground. So that's 450 years. So for 400 rounds of Monopoly, you don't get to play at all. Not only do you not get to play, you have to play on the behalf of the person that you're playing against. You have to play and make money and earn wealth for them, and then you have to turn it over to them. So then for 50 years, you finally get a little bit and you're allowed to play. And every time that they don't like the way that you're playing, or that you're catching up, or that you're doing something to be self-sufficient, they burn your game. They burn your cards. They burn your Monopoly money. And then finally at the release and the onset of that, they allow you to play and they say, okay, now you catch up. Now at this point, the only way you're going to catch up in the game is if the person shares the wealth, correct? But what if every time you share the wealth, then there's psychological warfare against you to say, oh, you're an equal opportunity hire. So if I played 400 rounds of Monopoly with you and I had to play and give you every dime that I made, and then for 50 years, every time that I played, if you didn't like what I did, you got to burn it like they did in Tulsa and like they did in Rosewood. How can you win? How can you win? You can't win. The game is fixed. So when they say, why do you burn down the community? Why do you burn down your own neighborhood? It's not ours. We don't own anything. We don't own anything. Trevor Noah said it so beautifully last night. There's a social contract that we all have, that if you steal or if I steal, then the person who is the authority comes in and they fix the situation. But the person who fixes the situation is killing us. So the social contract is broken. And if the social contract is broken, why the do I give a shit about burning the Football Hall of Fame, about burning the Target? You broke the contract when you killed us in the streets and didn't give up. You broke the contract when for 400 years we played your game and built your wealth. You broke the contract when we built our wealth again on our own by our bootstraps in Tulsa, and you dropped bombs on us. When we built it in Rosewood and you came in and you slaughtered us. You broke the contract, so your Target, your Hall of Fame. As far as I'm concerned, they could burn this bitch to the ground. And it still wouldn't be enough. And they are lucky that what Black people are looking for is equality and not revenge.
Damn.
Woo-wee. That was a lot.
I'm glad you shared that with us.
Yeah, and that was noteworthy. Powerful, yes. Powerful, yes. Why did I share that? Okay, I just gotta show this one. Thank you. If you know, you know that reference. So why did I share that when we're talking about brown and black ops? Because she's clearly not an op. So that brings me to this comment from Jay Johnson. Middle class black people are invested in the current system, though. Yes, they are. And not just middle class. Okay, middle class black people are like liberals. I was a liberal once. Okay, like we all have gone through a journey of discovery. I was there. I can admit it. I'm so happy not to be there anymore, but I was there.
Well, what I would have to say, if I had an opportunity to say something to the middle class, it would be from our analysis that the middle class seems to be disappearing more and more rapidly, and eliminating the distinction between the middle class and the working class. And as far as if you're middle class and you're trying to see if you're going to side with the rich, and you're looking at the plans that they're making for the future, their plans are not about saving the middle class. Their plans are about like hollowing out the middle class, harvesting their resources. So if you're middle class and you don't know that, maybe you should look to which way the winds are blowing and side with the right side of history. And everyone wonders what that means. That does not mean siding with the rich, in case you needed to hear it.
In case you were confused about that. Everybody, do you guys hear my mouse clicking, clickety clacking? I'm gonna get another mouse someday. Someday I'm gonna get another mouse. But that brings me to we're not even talking about middle class. I want this. This is a question I want answered. Okay, there's a progressive caucus. There's a freedom caucus. There's a black caucus. Are there any other caucuses?
There's the Arab caucus, maybe. There's a caucus. I don't know.
Can you Google that?
I know that the Arab voters in Michigan are seeming to be pretty influential. I was listening
That's not a caucus.
You're right, but so I was just saying, yeah, Palestine Arab and Muslim Caucus, California Faculty Association.
Okay, so is that a caucus in Congress or for that state? Okay, Mastermind is saying there's a caucus for. There's a caucus for each and every individual special interest group.
No, there's a Turkish lobby and stuff. I haven't really thought about them for a while.
It's too many comedians. There's a caucus doodle doo.
Caucus is a funny word when you talk about the caucus. It's like oxymoron.
Yeah. So I just went. I was like, okay, let me just look. When were they formed? Okay, I think it was 71. This is my question, and you guys can please say something in the chat about it. I'm trying to figure out what their purpose is, because if you're not voting as a block, why are you here? Like if you're a caucus, that means you guys are together. You have mostly the same goals, correct? So what is your purpose? This is their homepage. The first thing is like how they originated. Meeting with President Nixon. Okay, so that's again origination. Apartheid in South Africa, and then election of President Barack Obama. There's nothing in between. Like, what the hell? Like, these are your accomplishments. I want to know your purpose, because you're not really giving me much here. You're not giving me much to go on.
If I had to guess, it'd be sheep herding into Democratic parties.
Exactly. That's the ops, right?
Yeah.
Don't trust these people. These people are ops. They're just sheep herding. If if John Lewis was amazing as they claimed he would be, he would have been dead a long time ago. John Lewis left the Black Panther Party and joined Congress instead. I'm just saying.
Well, speaking of Obama, since I got a little video from him, he recently helps a community at you had Memorial Day there last week, so I'm just waiting for it to load up. The video is called "President Barack Obama Helps Community at Alexandria National Cemetery." So he did. We don't really need to show it. It's kind of giving him extra oxygen, but he's just out there being his black op self. Can't be president anymore, but he can still try and portray that image of that liberal black man who did so good.
I'll be in his black ops self. So while you're looking that up, then let's talk about the Progressive Caucus, because we often talk about the squad. Okay, the squad. Like these 4 people, actually it's more people in the squad than, because I would consider Katie, what's that white lady name? Katie. I kind of would consider her part of the squad as well. But let's put the squad aside. The Progressive Caucus. Look at these members. Oh, I gotta shut. Wait a minute. There we go. First of all, let's not start with Camilla. Look at the members, the whips and all of them. Look at the brown and black faces. Y'all could vote as a block. What's the problem? Look how many members of the Progressive Okay, Bernie. Never mind. Never mind. Answer my own question. Oh, Sean. Let me go back and see. I'm trying to be petty. I would say more like a big toe.
Maybe there's a foot. It seems like a foot's been on that face,
Katie Porter, yes, Desiree, thank you, Katie Porter. Which Katie Porter sounds great, in theory, but Katie Porter will never challenge a Democrat about the things that she discusses. It's only a Republican that she challenges. So you sound good on paper, I guess, but as long as you can never challenge your own
it's that your own social circles that you're afraid of challenging. You can speak out on this issue, but then you maybe won't be able to associate with certain people anymore.
I won't be invited to the party.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Access journalism.
Yeah, exactly. Access journalism. Which is I'm not gonna go on that tangent, okay.
We could leave it at that.
They fall in line and vote as instructed. Yes, they do. Not only do they fall in line and vote as instructed, then they try to play us like, oh, I'm just going to vote president, or I'm going to vote. We already know how many votes we need, right? We already know how many votes we need. So you could vote no this time, just to make it look, like you're taking it to the man.
Yeah.
You already knew if this was going to pass or fail, because Nancy Pelosi rounds you up and finds out. That's what they do. Finds out what the votes are before the votes are cast. But yeah.
Well, there does still seem to be some kind of group out there, some black and brown voters who are still in their camp for some reason, and then they leverage those voices to, argue all these arguments we've been debunking for the past several months, that you still they still have something to offer you, and this is the most important election of your lifetime. These kinds of, gotta do the lesser of two evilism, this kind of.
What? Read that, Michael.
While we were distracted with Trump, Biden is now bombing Sana'a, Yemen. Good to that's some real breaking news in comparison. I can take a look for see if something comes up.
So while you're doing that, let me segue to something of a brown and black op. This is the most recent op, in my humble opinion. So while you kind of search for that, I'll just kind of man this ship real quick, okay?
Yeah,
How's that sound?
sounds good.
All right. So I think this is hilarious because this woman is doing like the whole media circuit, MSNBC, CNN, and they're trying to like tout her as like she is some kind of superhero. And this is kind of old news, but like we're just getting back. So I just want to speak on it.
And Chronic, she has already earned a fierce reputation for schooling folks. On the other side of the aisle, take a look at the kid.
But when we start talking about things that look like evidence, they want to act like they blind. They don't know what this is. These are our national secrets. Look like in the to me. So you can talk all you want to about how January 6th was nonsense, but all of y'all were running at that time. Y'all were grabbing y'all's gas masks. Y'all were running to your offices because you didn't know if they were coming to kill you.
I think your fake eyelashes are messing up.
No, ain't nothing.
Hold on.
Listen. I'm just curious, just to better understand your ruling. If someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging personality, correct?
What now?
Sorry. StreamYard just does this all the time now.
Wow.
Sorry about
Didn't
that.
add on us while we're trying to show something.
Okay, I just kind of wanted to show her because she is like she's like making all the news because she called that girl bleach blonde, whatever. Just dumb. But this is the girl. What they didn't show you, and I should, is how this woman defamed the name of her parents in that little clip. So let me see if I could share. I really would like to go back to Chrome for this because this browser is not giving what it should be giving, baby. So, okay, so much cringe here. Yes, so much cringe here. And all the alt media people are covering it. They are loving it. So let me show you. They cut up that video down, and with good reason because it's so cringeworthy. I can't even believe this woman said this and defamed her black parents.
As I prepared, I said, what is the crime? Because when you're talking about impeachment, you're talking about high crimes or misdemeanors. And I can't seem to find the crime. And honestly, no one has testified of what crime they believe the president of the United States has committed. But when we start talking about things that look like evidence, they want to act like they blind. They don't know what this is. These are our national secrets. Look like in the to me.
Bye, John.
This looks like more evidence of our national secrets, say on a stage at Mar-a-Lago. When we're talking about somebody that's committed high crimes, at least indictments, let's say 32 counts related to unauthorized retention of national security secrets. 7 counts related to obstructing the investigation, 3 false statements, 1 count of conspiracy to defraud the United States, falsifying business records, conspiracy to defraud the United States, 2 counts related to efforts to obstruct the vote certification proceedings, 1 count of conspiracy to violate civil rights, 23 counts related to forgery or false document statements, 8 counts related to soliciting, and I could go on because he's got 91 counts pending right now. But I will tell you what the president has been guilty of. He has unfortunately been guilty of loving his child unconditionally, and that is the only evidence that they have brought forward. And honestly, I hope and pray that my parents love me half as much as he loves his child. Until they find some evidence, we need to get back to the people's work, which means keeping this government open so that people don't go hungry.
All right, girl, shut up.
Because
That girl said, I hope and pray my parents love me as much as Joe Biden loves his child. How disrespectful. And that's the that is the cooning ass. I ain't never heard such coon foolery. And this is the woman that is making the rounds because she called Marjorie Taylor Greene a bleach blonde. But I mean, it was a good line. I ain't gonna lie. Bleach
Well, I must say,
blonde,
with-
bad built,
just-
butch body.
Just set my eyes on that woman. I don't really know who she is, but I'm just saying it's always it's a case in point example of these beautiful women. Sometimes you can just, if you're not listening to what they're saying, you just like kind of fall in love with them and stuff. But like sometimes you got to listen to what the hell they're saying, and you're horrified at what these beautiful people are saying.
That's what. Okay, that makes sense. Yes, that's why people have love celebrities so much because they're really pretty people. Like you might be in awe of their beauty, but I mean, ain't nothing up there.
It's like a honey trap, is what they call it, eh?
Uh,
But that's not quite, because that's just using her for propaganda. But the honey trap is getting more involved. But yeah.
yes, Rondo, it is tacky. I do not like label hoes, so I'm not calling her a hoe. I'm just saying, the term label hoe, where people gotta wear other people's names on their body. Like, weren't you enslaved? Your ancestors, like you were branded with, like they actually put iron brand on your body, and you purposely go out, spend your hard-earned money to rebrand your body. That is odd to me.
Well, it's this personality cult stuff with the celebrities and the politicians too. This is where everyone's kind of concerned about Trump being a cult of a personality. And I was going to talk about Modi a little bit in India, because he's the same thing. He's very considered the biggest democracy in the world, but Narendra Modi's got some kind of personality cult going, and he's very fascistic and like taking pages out of the Nazis kind of thing, just like the Israelis. I have a video I could show about Modi. Sorry, I get distracted when I start.
That's okay. So while you're pulling that up, I can just show this real quick while you're pulling up your because I don't see you sharing it.
Yeah.
So
here.
this
Modi,
is another one. Oh, you want me to wait?
Yeah.
You got it?
He went to India. He went to Israel for Israel's National Day of Independence kind of thing. So
I don't see you sharing it.
Share my screen.
Okay. Yes, that's what they call it.
So you see
cold.
it there?
Yep. Can you make it big?
I'm not sure if we'd be better off just reading what's underneath the video here. Oh, here, it's muted.
I can't really see it.
It's one of these ones we don't quite need the audio. I don't think there's anyone. I think it's you can see these. But the point is, I think it'd be better to read the script down here. Let me just blow it up a bit.
Yeah, blow it up some.
because the video essentially just says what the script says. So it says the PM Modi continued to stand on the right side of history. Israeli president commends India's support amid Gaza war. The Israel-Hamas war continues to turn ugly as killing and bloodshed entered day 229. I think this was like a week ago or something, but the horrific wars killed thousands on both sides due to both sidesism. IDF continued to pound Gaza, not genocide it, Anyway, meanwhile, Israel celebrated its National Day on May 21st amid the ongoing catastrophic hostilities. Israeli President Isaac Herzog lauded India for pledging support and solidarity amid conflict. Herzog said Prime Minister Modi continued to stand on the right side of history as he condemned the war. He further highlighted India's importance in global leadership, speaking for the value of humanity and civilization. So the fascists are going to claim that they're the civilized ones, of course, repeating history and stuff. So the video shows his visit. He went to Israel to, kiss the ring and all that. So
Not kiss the ring.
but the point is, the reason why I share that, because there's elections happening all over the world. And like there's the US, it's actually a huge year. I feel like a historic year for democracy, if you want to call it that, because there's elections like in like 50 different countries this year. So, and it's like they're all happening at the same time, and this is kind of a rare. It's like the planets lining up kind of thing, So there's elections in the UK, elections in the EU, elections in Iran, elections in India, elections like I can call up another article here.
Yeah, the puppets and the puppeteers are really busy right
Yeah, it's the big year of democracy, right? But it's all of it is the sham democracy of the West. So, but then not every election that's happening this year is the Western democracies. So if you want to be a student of democracy, this year is a very good year for that. It's this is the WEF web page, but they're the ones who this came up when you search for this. So I guess they're the only ones who covered this.
So
go ahead.
So before you go into that, if you guys haven't seen Glenn Greenwald debate Alan Dershowitz about
That was excellent.
You saw it?
I saw some of it, yeah.
Oh, so good. I was like, go, Glenn, go.
I was watching INN. I'm trying to remember now who it was. Forget the guy's name. I don't see him very often. But Snow Himbo and the other guy were talking about it. So hats off to them,
Hats off.
So you want me to get into this little article?
Yeah, you can. He says that Miguel says their name is Snow Himbo and Mad Crab.
Mad Crab?
Yeah.
You probably saw that episode too. Thank you. So 2024 is a record year for elections. Here's what you need to know, says the World Economic Forum. Massive pound of salt. But 2024 is a historic election year with elections in 50 countries. More than 2 billion voters will head to the polls in countries including the United States, India, Mexico, and South Africa. Geopolitical volatility is the biggest risk identified by the WEF, which is, and we can all see the geopolitical volatility. Thanks, WEF, for telling us the obvious. So 2024 will be a record-breaking year for elections. Kind of repeat themselves for no reason. So the U.S., we've been talking about the U.S. elections. People have been always talking about them years ahead of time. So I don't know how much people really need to kind of feel like maybe we can skip a little bit.
I'm sorry. I was messing up. I was just queuing up my stuff and I accidentally overlaid it from yours.
Oh, that's okay.
We need a smasha. I'm sorry.
So I can't look back at the StreamYard without seeing. So is it still showing it now?
No, it's showing yours. Yes, you're good.
All right.
You're
All
good.
right, cool. So the U.S. are about to head to the polls on the 5th of November, but I don't want to talk about that with this article. I wanted to just touch on, because other people, like I didn't really know until today what other elections are going on, but I knew some of them. But there's the Indian election between April and May, will be the world's largest. More than 900 million people are registered to vote in India out of a population of 1.4. Narendra Modi hopes to be re-elected for a third 5-year term. India is the world's largest democracy, largest fascist democracy, also increasingly important geopolitical actor. Right. So Mexico on June 2nd. Country has almost 100 million voters, and they will elect a new president to serve a 6-year term. I don't really know much about the Mexican politics. I don't know if AMLO is rerunning again. I thought maybe he's done all right. I don't, like I'm saying, I haven't really looked into Mexican politics too much to be able to criticize him, but certainly been a better president than Joe Biden. So EU elections, there's not much to be said there. That's going to be a clusterfuck. We'll see what happens. South Africa election, in the member of the BRICS there. So that should be very interesting. It should be what they're saying. 2024 is expected to be the country's most important for 30 years. But they always say the most important election in our lifetime. But I guess what we can see everything happening this year.
Every time.
But at this time, I feel like maybe there's a little grain of truth to it at least, because this is like everything's happening this year. It's that Lenin quote. So there are decades where nothing happens, and like years where decades happen. So it's The African National Congress Party has governed the country since 1994. Now there's uncertainty about whether the ANC can keep its majority. So I guess it'd be important to tune into South Africa to see how this will affect what they're trying to do with BRICS. I'm sure the Americans would want to interfere with this election. Other 2024 elections, I think Taiwan already just happened. I don't remember. I think that they re-elected their crazy far right, whatever. They're locked in for their crazy war with China.
They got their puppet.
Yeah. Indonesia, Russia has already happened. We already got Putin back. Iran and Pakistan. I wonder how Iran's elections are going to be affected by what's just happened with President Raisi there. And then Pakistan, I think, already had their election with Imran Khan. That was very significant development with what happened with their elections. We'll have to cover that another year, or another episode. But that's enough of this WEF.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I was putting together something, but I can share my screen now. I think this is like something about the eclipse. Isn't this supposed to be the dawning of the Aquarius or something?
Yeah, the age of Aquarius, right? That's kind of funny. The astrological take on all of this is the reason why everything is crazy right now is because Saturn's in Pluto in conjunction with Jupiter and Uranus all at the same time, and it means that we're all going to die. So.
It's Uranus, your anus, Michael.
Never pass up the chance to say Uranus.
Never. All right, so I was just gonna play my next Black Op. This dude right here. I'm gonna try to go all around the country a little bit, just and people will get the picture in the end. So here's our next Black Op.
When people are calling you, specifically Black people, what are they saying they feel they have not gotten out of having voted consistently for Democrats and for Joe Biden?
Open mobility. Simple as that. Like, people want security, and a lot of that security is financial. Like, it's simple and plain. And it's just been, whether it was President Obama, whether it was, all the way back to Clinton to now Joe Biden, they feel like the Democratic Party has never promised that. And it's like right now, the problem I'm having with my listeners, what am I supposed to tell them? Like, what am I supposed to tell them other than, look, man, Donald Trump is a fascist. You may think things can't get worse, but they absolutely positively can. But if they feel like, I've already lived through a Trump presidency, I lived through Reagan. How much worse can that get? Like, it's like, what do I tell them? They're not afraid of just telling them to go out and vote because of fear anymore.
When people are calling you, and specifically Black people, what are they?
Okay. First of all, who made him a leader?
Charlemagne the God. Or
who made you a leader? I got a podcast. I'm no leader.
I think a lot of these people are picked because they fit the physical appearance bill. You know, he's a attractive young male kind of.
He is playing the I don't like Obama. No, I'm sorry. I'm not with Biden. No. We need some demands for Black people. And then eventually he's just gonna corral everybody in.
Well, he's that fake alpha male there. Where he's the beta who's leading these other betas is the idea. But he looks like an alpha that everyone will follow. But how are you an alpha male if you're corralling people to cuck themselves? So
oh my gosh, the alpha male discussion.
Yeah. Well, that's as much as it's a bullshit thing. Like if you go looking it up in a scientific way, doesn't so much matter if it's bullshit if people believe it's true. And this is what really I think happens with that alpha male stuff.
This dude has been on The View. He's been on MSNBC, CNN. You know, all the circuits. You don't get on those shows unless you are doing the bidding. And so there is. I pulled it up. He was on. I could try to pull it up if we have time, but he was on T.I. You know T.I. the rapper. He had a podcast called Expeditiously, and this is years ago. Charlemagne the God was on that show, talking about how horrible Joe Biden is. Like, of course he's horrible for Black people. He did the crime bill. He did this. He did that. So he knows. He knows what's really up. He's doing this on purpose for what? The money, the fame, the access? I don't know. Whatever it is. But he knows. Oh my gosh, he's been on these nuts. These nuts.
Rondo's, sorry. Charlatan the Fraud is a former employee of Puff Daddy. It's interesting.
We both actually clicked the same thing. I did not know that he was a former employee, but well.
This is why our chats are the best in the independent media, because we got people who know shit.
When did he invite you to a party? You gotta tell him no. You gotta tell him no.
Thanks, Rondo, for letting us know that.
Yep. So, do you have something you want to show next? Here's another op. I got another op real quick. Auntie the op. You know how in Black America we got honorary aunties and uncles. We call them auntie and unc. This is supposed to be auntie. Listen to what auntie.
I want everybody.
Auntie has a nerve to tell homeless people that showed up at her office about housing, told them to go home. So. Let's watch that.
I want everybody to go home. And I want
We don't got no home.
That's
why we here. Miss Miss Waters, can you home we gonna go to?
just a moment. Nothing is going to happen here today. Nothing is going to happen anymore today.
So what about
But
all these names?
what we're
the
gonna
telephone
well,
numbers
that's
that
give
the
That's why I'm here. And so I will be downtown with Lassa. I will get the housing authority. That's why they came out here today. I made them come out here. And I'm gonna go.
And you need to know why they're failing, because Blanca Jimenez repeated, we gave a several meeting requests for you concerning this in Lhasa for years. And now they're sitting
There's
here.
nobody in Washington who works for their people in harder than I do.
I believe you.
I don't want to hear that.
I believe you. So can we finish that? Work with me. Work with me so we can house people. That's what I
do every day.
Congressman, we're just, in case you can't see, showing video of you standing on the.
How you gonna tell homeless people to go home? You heard that one, but we ain't got no home. That's why we here.
It's just
That's another one.
colonizer reflex, you know, telling people to go home when it's a little bit of projection, when it's like we're here because we stole people's homes. That's kind of maybe psychologically where's that coming from.
Yep, I'm on some Cat Williams stuff today. Exposing them. Every last one of them. The one that gets me the most is that the two dudes coming out of Tennessee, you know, they got censured. You remember that story? The two dudes who got censured?
I don't know if I heard that story.
Okay. Well, I'm going to play it. You have something you want to play?
I didn't have as many videos today. I tend to do more articles and stuff. So I was saying, I did a bit of a focus on the Indian politics because I wanted to learn a bit about it myself. In Canada, I learned recently there's been immigration from India tripled over the past decade, and then part of the reason that people are so anti-immigrant over here is they're ignorant. Like there's fascism over here that's driving them to be anti-immigrant. But then when you want to look to see what's going on in those other countries, it's not always the war-torn country that the immigrants are coming from. That's the bit of the exception with India, where it's not a genocide that's driving them. It's more economic migrants that are leaving because of political repression from a fascist leader like Modi. So then people don't understand that there's fascism here, fascism there, white fascism, brown fascism, both of it Nazi inspired. Like this is where my research comes across this. I might as well share it here.
And while you're doing that share, can I just leave you for a second? I don't have my schmasha here, so I gotta go get my own wine.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'll be right back.
So there's this group called the RSS. So this is called the Cultural Malware, the Rise of India's RSS. Author is Peter Friedrich. He's an activist specializing in analysis of current and historical events in South Asia, a native of California. And he tweets over here, Friedrich Peter, at Friedrich Peter, if you want to go take a look. But maybe I should preface this with this video, if I can share it here. It says, on Christmas Day, the Nazi-inspired RSS paramilitary flexed its muscle in the streets of Hyderabad. As CAA NRC protests spread across India, affiliates of the RSS, especially its student wing, are accused of joining police in violence against protesters. This is December 2019. So this is very Nazi-esque kind of march, and this is happening in India. And then as far as how do they guarantee their electoral victory? It's with strong-armed iron fist, you know, people go beating people up. So this article, written in 2020 here, in 2019 on Christmas Day, the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh marched through the streets of the Indian city of Hyderabad in the state of Telangana armed with lathis, the iron-bound bamboo poles used by police. Uniformed cadres of the RSS paraded to the beating of drums and blaring of bugles. The march followed a 3-day training camp to increase Telanga's nearly 3,500 RSS branches, shakas, which means branches. At least 8,000 Swayam Sevaks were expected to participate, reported the Indian Express. It was a grand display of incredible discipline and military precision that for some conjured up images of another organization. RSS today took a massive Nazi-style march, wrote Ashok Swain, a professor of peace and conflict studies at Uppsala University in Sweden, claiming the RSS was inspired by the Nazis. Poet Mira Kandasamy wrote, "Their military-style uniform marching, the way they go after one enemy is all in line with the fascists." The march also drew criticism for another reason. All other rallies in the city were banned at the time. Hyderabad's population is 30% Muslim, more than twice the national average. It has been a stronghold for rallies against the newly passed Citizenship Amendment Act and the proposed National Register of Citizens. Yet, seeking to quash dissent, the government had specifically prohibited public assemblies. The only exception made was for the Hindu nationalist paramilitary, the RSS. You see, this is a recurring theme all over the world. In Finland, even, recently, there's bans on public assemblies by the communists, but not by the fascists. So, the RSS is probably the world's oldest and largest paramilitary group, a secretive, unregistered organization. Its size is unknown, but estimated at approximately 6 million Swayam Sevaks. It keeps no records and has no bank accounts. It is uniformed, armed, and all male. Women are only allowed in the separate women's wing. It also has countless special purpose subsidiary organizations. And then the most important of which are there. You can continue reading here. For the sake of time, I wanted to show this also. Bloody Alliances, how India's RSS inspires white nationalist violence. This is the same Peter Friedrich. So rather than read this whole thing, I'm just going to try and skip down to the part about the connection between the Hindus, the RSS ideology here. Hindutva is a term coined by V.D. Savarkar in 1923, same year that Adolf Hitler's beer hall putsch tried to seize power in Munich. Savarkar developed Hindutva into religious nationalist political ideology eerily similar to white nationalism. An attorney, he called for the Indian subcontinent to be turned into an ethno-state of Hindus for Hindus and only for Hindus. So then we've got India's only for Hindus, Israel's only for Jews, okay? America is only for Christians. You see where this is going? And then where is the ethno-states for the Muslims? Is that supposed to be Saudi Arabia? Or are we supposed to be segregated nowadays? Is this how you stop socialism? You know? So, but my point here is that these white nationalists in Sweden and Ukraine and stuff, they are quoting like Indian people in their literature and stuff, as far as like we should take a page out of the Hindus playbooks as far as how to treat the Muslims, like invading Europe kind of thing. So just wanted to quickly find the receipt that I'm looking for specifically here. I couldn't really use my highlights, so although Jensen vaguely praises the Islamophobic advice of the Hindus of India, Breivik was much more specific. Breivik praised the policy of right-wing Hindu nationalism, or Hindutva, which seeks to make the Indian state into a Hindu nation, and noted that this agenda is promoted by the RSS and its political arm. They dominate the streets and often riot and attack Muslims. Not sure if that was really exactly what I'm looking for, but anyway, you kind of get the point, right? So let me just see what you guys.
I was just trying to catch up because I walked away.
Yeah, because as far as if you want to, like, Modi's party is the BJP party, and if you're not doing a full proper analysis, you'll just look at the political parties and you won't look at the affiliated organizations behind these parties. And this RSS is like a big part of maintaining the BJP's power in Indian democracy. So it's really this fascist paramilitary organization that goes around like pumping up the image and the popularity of, like, by encouraging all these young, like, this is an all male organization that they encourage to go out with these police sticks, right? So it's by getting all these young men to join this organization that's rising in power, it makes them feel that they're on the right side of history or whatever, that they're with the people who will win, whether they're the good people or not. So they feel secure by being in this fascist organization. So where is America's counterpart to that? I'm sure there's, you know,
the police state.
The police, 3%ers, the Proud Boys. There's, yeah.
It makes sense. It's living and behaving out of fear of being cast out. So instead of me being cast out, let me cast out someone else.
Yeah.
Which is a very cowardly way to live your life.
Yeah.
I just want to take this moment to say, hey, everybody, like and subscribe. We're on Rumble. We're on live Rumble. I forgot to do it for Civilian Discourse because we were just so nervous about just whatever.
Yeah,
but we did it this time.
Up the Rumble account like 5 minutes before stream, and so we
And
are
it worked.
streaming. Go ahead and subscribe on Rumble, please. You know.
And it worked. And just to remind everybody, Mastermind and Michael are going to be setting up their channels as well. We're going to be cross streaming. So, but we're just here now for now, and then we'll be, you know, doing whatever later.
Yeah.
So
I changed my YouTube channel. It got set up automatically in order for me to be a streamer, I guess, and then I renamed it to Nihilo Nostrum. So if you look on YouTube, Nihilo Nostrum, maybe you can go subscribe over there. I'm not really putting anything out there yet, but in the meantime, in the short term, there might be something coming.
Yeah, just go subscribe now. It doesn't matter. Like just
And then if
when
something
stuff
comes up,
happens, it happens.
then it'll actually, maybe you'll get a notification or whatever.
Yeah. So I did wanna say cheers to my my schmosher. Mastermind's beautiful other half. I've really enjoyed getting to know her as a person, as I've enjoyed getting to know Mastermind and you. So that's the one good thing that came out of that Runaway RBN channel was 3 new friendships.
Well, this year's been a test for me, but there's been a lot of good things coming out of it too. So I just gotta not be losing hope and have faith in my newfound friends here, my comrades, and I'll be okay.
We'll be okay. We gonna be all right. You remember that protest song from Kendrick Text Zone of BLM? We gonna be all right. If you don't know it, I encourage you to Google it. Okay, so I'm gonna share something. This dude, okay. He's like I was telling you about the 2 House representatives in Tennessee that got censured. I can't remember why they got censured. Okay, one of them is he's not a foundational Black American. I don't know what his nationality is. The other one I think is a foundational Black American, but this dude is hilarious to me. He comes out with dashikis. He got the big afro, and he speaks. He tries to do speeches like he's MLK. So let me share this, and then I'm gonna show you how he started out in the beginning. So this is why I say we have to be vigilant. Trust no one until they have proven to be trustworthy. And we've never met any of these people, so we never would know if they've proven to be trustworthy. So never trust them, basically, is my.
But the measure that you use to determine what is trustworthy, this is where
Their vote.
dialectical materialism is important. So
Mm-hmm. Okay, so here we go. Oh, wait, hold on. I gotta turn it up. Bring the noise.
To be in the house of the Lord with you this morning. Would you mind going ahead and praying with me now, Mother God, Creator God, loving God, Holy God? The movement lives or dies in Memphis. The movement lives or dies in Memphis. The movement for justice lives or dies in Memphis. The movement for democracy lives or dies in Memphis. Let them expel. Let them kick out. Let them do what they must. There's a promise that Sunday's resurrection is on the way.
So here's the deal.
Doesn't he sound electrifying? Here's my Shmasha. Hi, Shmasha. Doesn't he sound electrifying? Didn't it give you like MLK vibes?
yeah, they use those that's like very psychological tactics that these preachers use that work very effectively. People lap that shit up, you know. If only they would be saying like rational shit with that kind of energy. But then
All right. If only. Oh, hey, little bee.
because they're playing on the emotional keyboard. Is that what you call it?
Yes, they are. But I want you to see who this dude was before he was the MLK wannabe. Okay. This is him. Oh, wait. Oh, there he is. Jeez. Okay, there we go.
Hold on. Justin J. Pearson, and I'm running for president of PSG. There are a few reasons that we're running this campaign this year. One has to do with representation. How can we represent in a conversation? I want to do this by partnering with organizations from the voting Democrats to the voting Republicans. I want to bring together different voices, dissenting voices, voices that may be more liberal or more conservative, in order that we can reach a point of sort of the radical middle. Seems like that NRA and gun lobbyists might win. But all that was good news for us. I don't know how long this Saturday in the state of Tennessee might last. But oh, we have good news, folks. We've got good news that Sunday always comes. Justin J. Pearson, and I'm running for president.
Okay. Lord. So, dude.
Wait. Here's a different now. I got my money from my swear jar because I'm about to start swearing. Because what the fuck was that?
You can't be putting no swear tax on me there. I can't afford none of that shit.
Oh my gosh. How you went from that to that? It's all an act. These people are not real.
Well, you kind of forgetting that the internet never forgets. Like maybe you could do that back in the day when you could do that change of wardrobe and then character switch, and then people don't have evidence to prove to everyone.
Yeah.
I should be careful with
Can't get away with that anymore.
Yeah, we're all gonna have to be mindful of this, right?
But they always rely on the fact that there's so much chaos going around us that we are very forgetful.
Or that we'll just miss something and not remember it to begin with.
Or we'll miss something, yes.
Just like all the news is going to be about Trump's verdict there, instead of people hearing about the Houthi bombing the Yemen.
Ooh. Oh, we have. Look.
You want me to cover that a bit?
Yeah, I was just talking about how forgetful we are. So while you're pulling that up, I'm just gonna go in the chat real quick, and Shmasha, her jar overflows. I got some money for you. this is the other Smasha, Tasmit. We missed you. We needed some help. And everybody is going to send you positive energy for your next position as principal of a school that you're going to turn around. So we got your back. We got your back. Rondo says, don't trust them new Negroes over there. You cannot. One last one, Michael. Okay, what about Farrakhan? He's the black op. He got Malcolm X for them. That's a yeah.
Yeah, when you start making the list, it gets kind of long, eh?
Yeah. I really do like things that he says. Like there are some things that he says that I'm like, yeah, that's on point. But he does have a questionable past that you can't overlook. So I don't really know the answer to that, Jay Johnson. I have mixed feelings about him. I like the message that he provides, but I don't think I like the man, if that makes sense. Rondo says Farrakhan did not get Malik Shabazz for them.
So
Look, you see, this has hurt my heart. One last one. Oh, okay, wait. So Tajmit, our Sharma, said it went well today. So good for you. Good for you. Good for you. And what about Al Sharp? I don't know who that is, to be honest with you. Have you ever heard of that person?
Al Sharpton, the name's familiar. I have him very forgetful.
She's trying to say Al Sharpton?
Yeah, I thought so.
Oh, autocorrect. Oh yeah, he's an FBI agent.
Right. Like
That much I do know. And he
not always maybe the best person to be the on air host or whatever, if I can't remember off the top of my head who these people are or whatever, but hopefully with practice.
No,
because I know all these people if I look them up. Oh yeah,
right. Okay, so let's get to what you were wanting to share. Can you make it bigger?
Yeah. So probably good enough.
There we go. That's good.
Good. U.S. and Britain strike Houthi rebel targets in Yemen after surge in shipping attacks. And I got another article here. Let me blow this one up too, because it's in response. It's not just out of the blue. The Yemen's Houthis, like yesterday, claimed to attack 6 ships in 3 seas. Because I heard Caleb Maupin did a stream last night, and he was saying that the Houthis struck a ship in the Mediterranean. So I'm not sure if that's borne out in the facts. I think so, but then the U.S. might be covering it up. So it says, so here's the article for today.
They just over there doing the Lord's work.
Yeah, the U.S. and Britain struck 13 Houthi targets in several locations in Yemen on Thursday, today, in response to a recent surge in attacks by the Iran-backed militia group on ships in the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden. So they're only saying 2, not 3 seas. According to the officials, American and British fighter jets and U.S. ships hit a wide range of underground facilities, missile launchers, command and control sites, a Houthi vessel, and other facilities. The officials spoke on condition of anonymity to provide early details of an ongoing military operation. Also struck by the U.S. were 8 uncrewed aerial vehicles in Houthi-controlled areas of Yemen that were determined to be presenting a threat to American and coalition forces. The strikes come a day after a U.S. MQ-9 Reaper drone went down in Yemen, and the Houthis released footage they said showed the aircraft being targeted with a surface-to-air missile in a desert region of Yemen's central Marib province. It marked the 3rd such downing this month alone. Also earlier this week, missile attacks twice damaged a Marshall Islands-flagged Greek-owned ship in the Red Sea off the coast of Yemen, with a private security firm saying radio traffic suggested the vessel took on water after being struck. While no group claimed responsibility, suspicion fell on the Houthis. You want me to read the whole thing? There's not much here. I
Yeah,
can
keep
finish.
going, keep going.
This is the 5th time that the U.S. and British militaries have conducted a combined operation against the Houthis since January 12th. But the U.S. has been carrying out almost daily strikes to take out Houthi targets, including incoming missiles and drones aimed at ships, as well as weapons that were prepared to launch. The U.S. FA-18 fighter jets launched from the USS Dwight Eisenhower aircraft carrier in the Red Sea, officials said. Other U.S. warships in the region also participated. The Houthis in recent months have stepped up attacks on shipping in the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden, demanding that Israel end the war in Gaza, which has killed more than 36,000 Palestinians. 40,000, 50,000. That number has kind of been frozen for a long time. The war began after Hamas-led militants attacked Israel on October 7th. We don't need to read that part. The Houthis have launched more than 50 attacks on shipping, seized one vessel, and sunk another since November, according to the U.S. Maritime Administration. Shipping through the Red Sea declined. So this is basically just background information to close it off with. But to quickly just call up this other article for more context. They claim to attack 6 ships in 3 seas. Yemen's Houthis launched attacks on 6 ships in 3 different seas, the Iran-backed group said on Wednesday, including the Marshall Islands flagged bulk carrier Lax that was damaged after reporting a missile strike off the Yemeni coast. Security and shipping sources confirmed the Houthis hit the Lax in a barrage of attacks on Tuesday. In a televised speech, the group also said it targeted the Morea and Sea Lady in the Red Sea, the Alba and Maersk Hartford in the Arabian Sea, and the Minerva Antonia in the Mediterranean. The USS flagged Maersk Hartford container ship was not the subject of a drone or missile attack, said Ed Hanley, chief operating officer of a U.S.-based Maersk line, which owns the vessel. I can't speak to the other 5 ships, but the Hartford is fine, Hanley said in a telephone interview. Nothing happened. Reuters was not immediately available to read the comment, whatever, yeah, sorry.
I thought the U.S. attacked Sana'a, Yemen. I thought that's what somebody said.
Well, the Sana'a was probably one of the AP article that said that they had struck 13 targets in several locations. And I would imagine that Sana'a was one of them, but then the AP
okay.
probably didn't lead with
13 targets in several locations. That's what you just said?
Yeah, because the person in our chat said that they had bombed Sana'a. I searched the U.S. bombed Sana'a, and that's the article that came up. So
that's obviously a developing story that kind of just fell in our lap as we're all here together. So we don't have that much information on it, right?
But I would be interested to hear the confirmation as to the Houthis are showing their reach, that they can bomb 6 different ships in 3 different seas. That's pretty interesting.
Oh, the Houthis are they're a G. Wait, oh my gosh, look at all this developing news. Shooting going on right now in Minneapolis, 2 police and multiple civilians. Jeez. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. I'm just gonna stop with, I have like one or 2 more things, and then I don't really have anything else to share other than to just come together and have a kind of a conversation around the topic of today, if that's okay with you.
Mm-hmm.
It's too much going on.
Yeah.
It's always some shit.
Well, this is where I was thinking about starting Nyla Nostrum news channel before we had done this noteworthy thing. So if people are looking for more news, I can try and do like a breaking news sort of channel. But then if I'd have to have time and resources to do that and stuff. So
Yep, we're a work in progress.
One thing at a time.
This is what I'm sharing. This is my last thing about brown and black ops. There's so much more I could have pulled up, but I'm not gonna lie. My mom had a bad day. I was being very lazy, and I wasn't able to pull together all the stuff that was in my head.
I was thinking bigger instead of smaller. Like I was thinking like the that like the presidents are ops as much as like the YouTubers kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could spend we could do multiple episodes on this kind of thing.
On this kind of thing, yes.
Do a series out of this.
I just wanted people to remember that it was 2002. President Bush is enacting by executive fiat key pieces, executive order. So when they tell you they can do things at the stroke of a damn penny. They're lying. But anyway, so basically he found a loophole. I'm not going to just read all this. You could just Google it. It's very easy to find. 2002, Bush okays faith-based funding. He found a loophole where he could provide taxpayer dollars to churches for all kind of faith-based initiatives. Now, after that happened, that's just my high-level takeaway. After that happened, the black preacher coon train blew up.
Sorry, my dog's distracting me. She's getting playful here.
Your dog is fine. The black preacher coon train blew up. I am looking for Pastor. I'm looking for this image. I should have already had this prepared, y'all, so I'm very sorry. But it's not going to take me that long to pull it out.
It's hard to have everything prepared. You can't.
Usually I am. Usually I got it together.
I'm just gonna, while we got a moment here, I was wanting to, something that was shared in a Discord. It was a story about hundreds of descendants of Nazi hold a solidarity march in Israel. So the interesting story there is, it's not black and brown ops, but it's a white op, where it's the white descendants of Nazis that are living in like places like Argentina and South America, like Brazil and stuff. They're doing solidarity marches in Israel against this alleged anti-Semitism of the Palestinians, pro-Palestinian supporters and Palestinians and stuff. It's very, very eerie to see, you know.
Okay, go ahead and pull it up. I'm going to share this real quick since I already have it right here.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is what I was talking about. I don't know if I can make this bigger. This white man had the nerve. I mean, well, the unmitigated gall. But he ain't lying. So look at all these black pastors behind him. Prosperity preaching pastors. And he dressed like a pimp with all the black pastors behind him.
Yeah, it'd be nice if people could stop acting like pimps are cool, and that the image of someone cool is something that looks like a pimp or something like that.
And how insulting.
Yeah.
But I mean, if that's what you are, then that's what you are. So why are you mad at him for telling the goddamn truth? God bless the truth.
Rather be stabbed in the front than the back.
But anyway, that's all I have.
Yeah, sure. I'm not sure if you wanted to close out with this video. Another video I had was a very old video about the guns and butter debate. I feel like that's worth bringing up, that old talking point. It's an MSNBC video from 2010, I think. It's just ironic to see what the corporate media was saying back then.
Wait, before that, I thought you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I was gonna show I was just saying about for a closing video. I don't know how much longer you want to go, but let me
So
rather than get derailed.
So let's do that. You talk about that thing you want to talk about, right? After that, we'll just like say goodbye to everyone, remind everybody of all the things, yada yada. and then you could share your closing out video.
Sounds good.
Sounds good?
Yeah. All right, here. Oh, no. Here we go.
Tosh Mitt, I'm just reading this to you because I know you can't see it. She says, right, why is it okay to own and brutalize women for sex? Why is that a go-to for struggling? You can come in.
Yeah, it's just those cultural norms that should have never been normalized that
Have fun, mama.
become
Have fun.
quite entrenched and difficult to reverse, and then people act like things will always be this way because they've decided to believe in this kind of crap. So hopefully we can overcome this. I don't think it will be this way forever, but I won't be around forever, so who knows?
You know, it's funny, my mom just came in here to get some money for church. We was just talking about church.
So should I hit play here? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah? All right.
A large display of solidarity seen in the streets of Ashkelon in southern Israel. But take a closer look, and you may be surprised by who's actually waving these blue and white flags.
My whole family was involved in the Second World War.
They were known as a Nazi family in town. Hundreds of Germans with their own family history of anti-Semitism.
It's very important for me to be here to say my family story because I'm a descendant of Nazi perpetrators. My family was actively involved in the Holocaust. My grandparents, also my grandmothers. And as I found out, I was very shocked, and I want to speak about because my grandparents, they didn't speak about it.
They're all in the
Maybe
Jewish
they should
state
have.
participating in March of the Nations, a solidarity mission that brings together Holocaust survivors with descendants of the Nazi regime.
I can't change the past, but it's my responsibility to affect the future and the present times.
And their mission is working.
Not only they are not blamed in what their grandfathers done, but also take responsibility for those deeds. So I don't see anything more high, more pure, more human than those people.
Aryeh Itamar was born in the
Sorry.
Soviet Union.
He just said, for clarity, he doesn't see anyone more human than these descendants of the Nazis standing in solidarity with these modern day perpetrators of genocide. So just making sure I'm not the only one hearing that. So it's very sad to see a Holocaust survivor on the other side of this history here, because we've seen like Norm Finkelstein. There's other Holocaust survivors who don't see it this way, and it's a tragedy that some people have been lied to and confused in this way.
A survivor of the Nazi regime.
My grandmother managed to escape with me from the Odessa, which was surrounded by the Nazi armies. And it was the last train which managed to break through the German and the Romanian forces.
He came to Israel in 1947 when he was just 9 years old, making the long journey on the SS Exodus. But despite this painful past, he has no hate here in the present.
I cannot look on young people that they have to carry the blame of their grandfather. I do not accept this idea at all.
In the shadow of the October 7th massacre and the anti-Semitic rallies that have since popped
Not
up
anti-Semitic.
around Europe, the mission
Palestinians
of
are
March
Semites.
of the Nations and March of Life are even more crucial this year.
March of Life this year, we were in front of the university in Leipzig, and there were a Palestine demonstration inside, but we have a bigger group, and it was a very good statement and a very important statement, and we will not be silent in this time.
Okay, that's kind of enough of that. You do not
So,
have a big
can I
group.
say something?
All of the world is with Palestine. So yeah, go ahead.
I just because I know I have a nice handful of German friends, enough to kind of speak on this. Um, that Germany actually did the work to um, redeem themselves from the stain.
For some reconciliation.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
they have done
Way more work than America has ever
they
done.
did a lot to apologize and make up for it. But nowadays in German politics, if you've been kind of trying to follow it a little bit, there has been, like in America, there's been a slide back to the far right. There's been a resurgence of Nazism in Germany. There's been all kinds of like repressive things that the government's been doing. Okay, to Jews and Palestinians protesting in Germany. So things are sliding way back right into these. The whole thing about never again is that whole that phrase everyone would say. It's happening again. So those people need to wake up and recognize the change that is happening, the shift in history back to the bad days, you know.
Mm-hmm. I mean, my point was America never really did the work.
Yeah, no,
They
America.
still owe us reparations.
Yeah.
They had plenty of laws, like overtly racist laws. Now they're covertly racist laws, but they're still in place today. So we have not. America could take a lesson from the Germans.
They could take a better lesson.
Mentor.
They've chosen to take, right?
They need Germany to mentor them. Maybe I should say that. Okay, so you have a outro video that you're gonna hit us with, right? I'm gonna let you start prepping that, and while you do, I just want to thank everyone who took the time to look for us and find us on my channel, Abby Do Abby Don't. And please come back. Before you, I'm just gonna make it me and you for a second, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Please come back, like, subscribe, and share. Go like Michael's channel. I'm not sure if Mastermind has his channel up yet, but Mastermind Hour, go like his channel. We will be cross streaming. We will get our shit together because now we have Shmasha. Thank you, Shmasha. That is going to help us out so we aren't flailing around, more focus on all the technical stuff than on each other, because that's going to help a lot.
It's a bit of a new era for us too, eh? Not just RBN. So new era for all around.
Yes, and I have to learn the new technology, and we have to train each other on it and all kind of stuff. So it's gonna be a minute, but as patient as you have always been with us, we appreciate that patience moving forward because we're gonna get it together eventually.
Thank you everyone for being here and watching. Hope to see you guys again next time. Can't do any of it without you guys. The audience is always most important. So.
Comrades and civilians. Oh, can I just give away something real quick? I've in talks with Mastermind about doing the show where we give out a guest link and having the people in the chat jump in and talk to us for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I'd like to have more of a call-in kind of.
You'd like to do that too?
Yeah, that'd be
cool. So we're going to talk about that as well. Okay, I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, get
you don't have to show your face.
Voices,
Yeah, you don't have to show your face.
Yeah.
You could just jump in with a thumbnail or whatever and just talk to us. I think that would be awesome. Masha says, very cool. Yeah, I know, it is kind of cool. All right, so I'm going to let you take us away with your video.
Yeah, this is not the video I was talking. Just to clarify, I just accidentally called this one up, and I remembered I actually wanted, as far as announcements at the end. I watched this video earlier today. I don't know how many people remember Ben Norton. I haven't heard so much from him lately, but he's got his channel Geopolitical Economy Report. He does some good reporting. This video I found was very useful. It's called How Wall Street Buys U.S. Elections, Blackstone Funds Trump, BlackRock Backs Biden. So if you want a little bit of nuance into which factions of the bourgeoisie are supporting the Republicans and the Democrats, Ben does a good breakdown with this video. The actual video I was going to close out with,
the butter video,
is Guns versus Butter.
You could play both of them.
Yeah, the other one's an hour long. So that's something the audience will have to watch if they're interested. But this one's only 4 minutes, so we can close out with it.
Okay, make it big.
Yeah, it's a little glitchy, slow to load here. So.
That's
I forget emoji dude.
Whatever. Lesbian Chris Matthews.
So Sabby calls him emoji dudes, but now I'm gonna think of him like that forever.
I call him the lesbian, and Rachel Maddow, she's the trans dude. I'm not trying to be mean, y'all.
Chandler, he looks like the Friends guy.
They kind of look alike, and one's a girl, one's a dude, but they kind of like.
So he's the lesbian Chandler. Is that what you're saying?
He's the lesbian.
On that note.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I hope that wasn't rude to anyone in the comments. Love a place to share, express in a respectful manner. Talk about civil discourse. Thank you, Tasmania.
Okay, are we ready here?
And she says that after I just said all that rude shit, so that's funny. Yeah, go ahead. Press play.
All right, cool. I can't see. So anyway, have a good night, everyone. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Since Ed is on vacation, I'm going to put a spin on his playbook and call it my nerd book this week. So, in tonight's nerd book, some members of Congress have had enough of pouring hundreds of billions of dollars into Afghanistan while the U.S. has 10% unemployment and deficits. Congressman Nita Lowey of New York, head of the House Appropriations Subcommittee on State and Foreign Operations, says she refuses to give, quote, one more dime in aid to Afghanistan until President Hamid Karzai takes a stand against corruption. She said, for, quote, too many Americans are suffering in this economy for us to put their hard-earned tax dollars into the hands of criminals overseas. The chairman of the House Appropriations Committee, Congressman David Obey, went further, saying he would block war funding until Congress extends unemployment benefits. And the Pentagon seems to understand that its days of receiving blank checks from Congress are numbered. An effort is underway to slice more than $100 billion from its budget over the next few years. Joining me now for more on this is syndicated columnist David Sirota, who wrote a great column about guns and butter this week. David, thanks a lot for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
David, you wrote about the fact that we've sort of avoided the traditional guns butter decision over the last few years, and that at some point we're going to have to face up to it. Do you really think we are, or are we going to keep punting this?
I think we are. I think that what you've seen is not just a call for a guns versus butter, unlike Nita Lowey, but what's interesting to me is that you're seeing people like Senator Tom Coburn, the right-wing Republican from Oklahoma, using his position on the president's budget commission to call for an audit of Pentagon spending. You've heard Secretary of Defense Robert Gates say that he wants to cut $100 billion out of the Pentagon's administrative costs. Maybe it's not war costs, but at least that's something. You've even seen a Politico story about the Tea Party folks saying, and this is organizers, not candidates, but at least organizers saying that if we're going to have a serious discussion about spending, we're spending right now a single TARP, one bank bailout a year, $700 billion now on the Pentagon every year. And if you're going to have a discussion about spending, you need to have a discussion about how much we're overspending on the Pentagon.
Do you think, I mean, one of the things I always wonder about this is the degree to which there's public recognition of the numbers. I mean, the numbers get big and then it's diffused. People understandably don't have a great handle on the federal budget. Do you think that folks realize how much we are spending on both the war specifically, but just generally in defense? It's gone up something like almost 100% since 2000.
Right. National Journal recently reported that President Obama is on track to become, in a single term, the largest amount of defense spending since World War II. I think you're right. I think the public doesn't necessarily understand when you hear $1 billion, $100 billion, $700 billion, $1 trillion. It gets very confusing. Here's what I think the public does understand. They do understand that we are in a recession. They do understand that we are spending more on our defense, on defense right now, than almost every other industrialized nation in the world combined. And when you hear comparative numbers like that, I think people really understand it. And they understand that especially when it comes to war funding, the funding of actual occupations in Iraq and Afghanistan, that's not necessarily money to build jobs, defense industry jobs in congressional districts. That's money that's literally going out of the country and leaving the country for good.
You worked for David Obey, and you talked about him in your column. What do you expect to see out of him in the next month or so?
Well, he's retiring, and I think that in some ways there's a kind of a throw caution to the wind attitude. Although anybody who knows David Obey knows that he's sort of had that for a while in a good way. And I think now with the president so aggressively pushing for an escalation, pushing up now another $33 billion spending bill for the Afghanistan war, I think Obey means what he says. And he says we're not going to cut another check for this war in specific until we get real jobless benefits, until we get a real jobless program. We should be spending at least as much on creating jobs here at home as we are sending to Afghanistan.
Agreed. David Sirota, syndicated columnist, radio host in the Denver area. You should check him out if you're lucky enough to live there. Thanks a lot.